we have some of your DC collection, and I did not realize that this was something that you were interested in or had wanted to get involved in. So this was news to me that you were into DC.
Well, the thing about these characters, lately, a lot of them have been, showcased in movies and so forth, and sort of brought a resurgence of interest among, even people who never were comic book enthusiasts, got introduced to the characters through the movies, and one thing and another,
right.
with Wonder Woman and Batman and so forth, and so it's become popular, even though it may or may not be thought of as comic book characters per se,
right.
but they're interesting characters, these super heroes. And so it was, and it's something, of course, as a kid, I grew up with comic books, and then those characters back during the what they called the Silver Age of the comic books.
So were you a comic book fan? Did you actually read comic books?
I did occasionally. I wasn't, I wasn't hardcore like a lot of people are,
right.
or a lot of people carry that interest, and there's a large number of people who are very enthusiastic about the subjects and also very knowledgeable, and there's a lot of, the stories go all over the place,
right.
and so forth.
And all kinds of iterations of them too, right?
But I think one of the reaching themes of the comic characters, it's always a struggle, dark against light, the good and the evil, and somehow or another, good, always wins out.
Right.
So.
Right. So who couldn't like that, right?
It's a great story.
I love a happy ending. I always want a happy ending.
But it's like Wonder Woman, it's like Wonder Woman. This is an example of what we try to instill in our daughters and everything today, to be strong and be forceful, you can be a positive force, Doesn't matter, what anything about your background. It doesn't matter your race, it doesn't matter your what gender you are, any of that kind of stuff. If you fight hard and you stay true to your values,
right.
and everything, you can succeed.
Exactly.
And that's a good example. So a lot of those stories like that, or those sort of underlying stories, are there with these characters. So that's one of the things I like about it.
Do you have a favorite?
Superman.
Okay, why?
Because I like the theme song of the old. The old series.
Yeah.
The way they introduced him,
Right. No, you're right. It has broken a whole world out there. A lot of people who weren't interested in comics at all have now, sort of taken a different look at it.
Yeah.
It's become a unique thing that people are really interested in. And what I thought was interesting about these pieces is it doesn't have your traditional quilting or any of those things that you typically have in a Jim Shore piece. Like, for instance, I'll show them again. Instead of the base having a quilt or some kind of design that's typical to Heartwood Creek or something like that, you have the Batman logo.
Yeah.
So I thought it was, you did a little bit of a departure here, but it's interesting and it's different.
Well, that was actually intentional. I put things on the front that sort of tell are little part of the story of the character. All of them have it. This one has it on front or on top there.
Right.
But and their logo, their insignia, and so forth. I just thought that was more appropriate than to put something that is, you might say, decorative.
Right. Exactly.
That takes away from the character, the strength of the character. I want because these things they're so powerful. I thought it would be interesting to do more of a pure, approach to this. So the people out there who like the subjects, I think, will agree with me in that regard.
I'm sure they will. And do you have any intentions of doing more? Is there more in the line coming?
Yeah, I will eventually do not only more characters, but more scenes, more involved sort of vignettes, the way I do with so many,
Yes.
And there may be some storybook things or some,
right.
Carved in heart approaches to, getting the groupings together.
Right.
So
or an Easter basket of DC characters.
Yeah.
What
great
little
idea.
kid won't like that idea, right? Well, yes, I'm sure there's lots of longevity here. You could come up with a million things to do.